If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home. Welcome to the voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL 950 AM, 100.3 FM, and you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com, and on your favorite podcast platform, just look for Catholic Audio Media, all one word or three words on Spotify, and scroll until you see the voice of St. Anthony Parish. So I've been talking this week about the importance of losing the idea that we turn from sin so that we grow in holiness. It's actually the other way around. We turn towards Christ, and by turning towards Christ, he leads us towards the path of holiness and away from the path of sin. So that's what we have to do. Be careful of this whole idea, I have to turn from sin so that I can go to heaven. That is a heresy. Please let it go. Now, I told you I was critical of Bishop Burbidge's tweet. I don't know if we still call them tweets, but anyway, on X, and it was this particular one. I mean, he has others that are very good, and I'd encourage you to check out his Twitter or his X account. It's at Bishop Burbidge, Burbidge, and you see other things he says. For example, at times, our hearts are broken and restless, but that changes when we unite ourselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and pray. The focus is on prayer. I absolutely request that always, because I'm not a bishop. O most holy heart of Jesus, I adore you and love you. Make me humble, patient, pure, and faithful. Within your heart, I place my every care. So you see that this is what I look for. This is what I want to see. And the reason is that Bishop Burbidge or someone else may not fully understand. They may not see what's on some of the other accounts or see people who you're dealing with or whatever, who are lost in the idea that they have to be sinless in order to get to heaven. No, the Lord calls us to have that powerful, holy relationship with him. Now, an interesting thing to keep in mind is, what is holiness? And holiness, if you look up the word holy in the Bible and you look up in the original languages, now I'll be honest, I don't speak a word of Greek. Don't speak Greek. No, I won't do that awful joke. But I don't speak Greek. I can get through with Latin. And the original Bible, the Old Testament, is written in Hebrew and some parts in Greek. And the New Testament was written in Greek. And then St. Clement, or later St. Jerome, translated it into Latin. So it is 1 degree away from the original Greek. But once you can find the Latin and find the Greek words that connect to the Latin, then you can find ways to also translate the Greek words. I make it very clear I don't speak Greek, but I do know enough Latin that I can work what was the original word. And this is important. So what does holiness mean? Holiness means nothing more than to be set apart, to walk a different path. And we walk a Christ-centered path, that's going to lead us to live a holy life. That's what holiness is. So do we understand that? Holiness is living a Christ-centered life, and it's a different path. That means that your way of life, if you're seeking holiness, may be atypical. It may not be the kind of life that people would expect you to live if you live a holy life. I'm not talking about living a sinful life, but you may want to walk down a different path, and you may find people saying, well, that's not what it means to be holy, and you can turn around and say, show me how that isn't true. For example, Dorothy Day, living her very intense Catholic worker life, and the members of the Catholic worker movement today. They live a life that others say, whoa, I mean, I believe in God, but I'm not walking down that path, because it is a total dedication to the Lord. And you can look up the interview I did with Scott Schaefer Duffy over at Catholic Audio Media Interviews.podbean.com. You can find them also over at Catholic Audio Media, and look up my interviews. I did 2 weeks of interviews with Scott Schaefer Duffy. He was wonderful, and it's I think to this day is one of my favorite interviews ever to do. But you see that you're called to walk a different path. That means you offer yourself up to the Lord and see where the Lord leads you, and He may lead you in a place A, you didn't expect, and B, people are saying you shouldn't be walking down that path, and they'd be wrong. We'll talk more on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. We're back, and we're talking about this powerful message of how we understand how we live the Christian life. Now, one of the things I wanted to bring up was a part of a paragraph from Pope Francis. This comes from Evangelii Gaudium, which was his first apostolic exhortation. And in paragraph 262, you hear the following: Spirit-filled evangelizers are evangelizers who pray and work. Mystical notions without a solid social and missionary outreach are of no help to evangelization. That's prayer without work. Nor are dissertations or social or pastoral practices which lack a spirituality which can change hearts. That's work without prayer. These unilateral and incomplete proposals only reach a few groups and prove incapable of radiating beyond them because they curtail the gospel. What is needed is the ability to cultivate an interior space which can give a Christian meaning to commitment and activity. And here's the key. Notice what I talked about yesterday. Without prolonged moments of adoration, of prayerful encounter with the Word, of sincere conversation with the Lord, our work easily becomes meaningless. We lose energy as a result of weariness and difficulties, and our fervor dies out. The church urgently needs the deep breath of prayer, and to my great joy, groups devoted to prayer and intercession. And he continues. So we see this powerful exhortation he makes, and he continues in inviting people to Eucharistic adoration, which I talked about yesterday. But you see how prayer is essential. This is key. And you know, one of the problems is, and I'll speak to the traditionalists in this one, they grew up at a time when the whole focus was on doing good works and being good and seeking virtue, and it wasn't on prayer. You don't believe me? Look at how much is written on prayer in the Baltimore Catechism, and there isn't a lot. And this is the reason why. So it was all written on this idea of us doing the right thing and never understanding we needed God's help to do the right thing. It was, I think, one of my favorite examples of just what I absolutely didn't like about this. There's several. One of them is that it was taught at the time that if you pray but you are distracted in your prayer, then your prayer is to no avail. Oh, what an awful thing to say. Whereas, number one, we can understand a couple things. Yes, you may be distracted in prayer, but I want you to understand something. If you go to a place of prayer and you end up being, we'll say you go for an hour and you end up being distracted for 50 minutes, that means you had 10 minutes of solid prayer. So we reverse that formula. Secondly, your presence in that space is a prayer too. But you want to be careful of that, because what happens is now you get this condemning attitude all the time. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And it's not about whether you're good enough or not. It's whether you are offering yourself up to the Lord and allowing yourself to be transformed. St. Paul says that in Romans 12:2. We allow for a transformation of our minds. Well, who's transforming our minds? It is the Lord coming and transforming us and changing us. And it really has to be focused on that. And that changes our way of acting, our way of being, and our way of understanding and our way of seeing. It really transforms so much, so that when the whole world is walking down one path and you're with a smaller group of people walking down another, and neither of you are walking down a path to sin, you can say, wow, we're on the narrow road and they're on the wide road. Yeah, but none of us are on the road to sin. Jesus doesn't talk about sin on the wide road and the narrow. He just talks about a lot of people are on the wide road. You be on the narrow road. And it's the narrow road. Narrow road is seeking a different way of life led by Christ. And how do you find that? You are people of prayer. Stay close to the sacraments. Go to confession regularly. Go to Mass regularly, at least once a week. And be careful of listening to these people who are using using YouTube to build up their egos. You see them all the time. I'm teaching the Catholic faith. No, you're being obnoxious. Think of that. We'll talk more we'll talk more tomorrow. Have a blessed day. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.